Time to make them really sick. So we got the bacteria engine, grain, most basic of grain. Whoops, I guess I didn't load that in yet. Alright, so let me explain this. Sine, triangle, saw. This is the actual square. This is trapezoid. This is square minus square 5. And this is square times square. Let's zoom it in with this shitty ass camera so you can see single cell organisms and shit. Little DNA or whatever you want to call it shit. You know? Because Mr. Mark said the Blofeld has the vaccine for the virus. You know what I'm saying? And he definitely does in all ways. So let's load this up. Well, that square in there, I obviously didn't have it in there. It's that dumb shit, I guess. Well, maybe I did have it in there, but I just didn't load it up on the screen. Whatever, we'll cancel that. Let's get over here to the keyboard, though. Let's get over here to the dip. Yeah, they mixed up. Alright, so how this is going, you guys already know the redundancies. Excuse me, I'm hitting keys and trying to find a flash card for you. What's going on? And it's just simple plain. We'll flip this over. Since we're bacteria, I told you as you go lower from 8 foot, because you know in 8 foot it's really 32. So it's 32, 64, 128, 256, and 512. That's how it goes. You zoom in on the bacteria as you get lower. So obviously in pitch it gets a little bit deeper. Same thing goes for mosaic. The only thing different in mosaic, there's two types. There's coarse and there's fine. The coarse obviously has bigger bricks, and the fine doesn't. They're more like tiny little, you know, like really tiny mosaic. And that's what differs from this, is that there's no 0, 16, 32, blah, blah, blah. No. You know what it boils down to for this? 0 and 127. I mean, you could have other integer regions if you want, so you could do, you know, 32, and the opposite of that on there would be, on the downside, I would want to say, if you said 0, 16, 32, that one would be 96, it would be 80. So, to make it be like this, so to speak, in essence, because that would represent this, red and blue. So yeah, you could still make these integers, but it really would be basically 0 and 127 or 112, however you want to do it, because I told you that's just what it is. So let's turn on some FM, get it a little bit noisy. Hear them protozoans going crazy? Hear that? That's what I'm saying. So, random grain is more complex because of the integers and how it, you know, it gets from scattered to clustered. Mosaic and bacteria, since they're discussing this, they're similar, but they don't do the spread, you know, the scattered and clustered thing. Like I said, you're just zooming in on the materials that they're made of. So single cell organisms like protozoa and amoebas and such, and or bricks and little tiles and stones. And you can get some pretty nice stuff with this, even when you mix shapes. So let's turn on a saw with the sine. You don't get that jittery like you do on the random grain. You see the difference when I turn it down slow, it then starts to stuttering, motherfucker. You didn't hear that. So you can get it to stutter. You can do some stuff. Now we'll experiment with some other things. Now let's turn on the bandpass radio. You know, because we're from the 80s with this shit. Bash your head in with a Nintendo controller. You know what I'm talking about? Cheapo in the store too. You'll be surprised at the item count. I believe it's like 116 or 120. I can't remember. It's over 100. But I'm gonna let this one go for the cheapie because it's the least complex of the grain. So let's try some of the stupid numbers like I was talking about. Let's try that 80-32 bullshit. There's a little bit of stuttering going on. You know, let's do this. You know how fat that is? No filters at all. Just two of them. Both turned down to 128, which is actually 512. We got a little oscillator FM going on some 38. You know, some low level sparing type level. You know, and the slow LFO. You know, what is the speed of that? 4. Should have been 3 because you know the power is 3, 6 to the 9, right? So turn comb on. Let's comb through some kinks because we know bacteria can be nasty. Probably extremely loud. I'm sorry if it is. See, I think it's beefy when you start combing the kinks out. I mean, I really enjoy this box. This engine, I'm not going to say it's the least of my favorite. I love them all, you know, and you guys can learn to love them too, you know, especially if you get some like little free sampler packs and stuff like that. But, you know, you have to catch me on the flip with that. Just contact me, you can get the free particles. Because see, when we're playing with Granular You're playing with phonons. I was explaining that on the actual grain episode, the first one, the random grain. When we play with particles, they're phonons too. But see, when you do this, there's going to be different shapes to them, and yeah, you're zoomed in all the way. See, you can zoom in only a bit. You can only zoom in a bit, and you can only zoom in a bit with the bacteria. But see, that's how when you get into the actual particle part, that's zoomed in all the way to the max. Then you can screw around individually and count up numbers, because we've already done that math. Go to the particle pointers video. I broke it down, and I redid the flashcard just in case, because we're not gonna do this. You can get up to 192 on the 3-wire material particles. You can get 192 on max. So that's at a half a foot. On the footage, on the actual oscillator foot. Turn that thing up to half a foot, you get 192 on the first rank, and you get 384 on the second rank. On the 4-wire materials, you get 256, or you get 512. That's how it goes. Now that's bacteria shit. Now let's turn the multiplier on. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell I didn't get the 4x4 on there. This is so stupid. It's beyond me. Like, I know I loaded this shit in there. That's what's crazy. I swear to shit, this oh man, tonight is crazy. This whole day's been wild. You just know, you don't know. I'm loading it in on 89 while we screw around here. But yeah, this is the least complex of the grain, and I want to say particles is too, because I mean it's pretty simple. You take the current ranking number at the beginning, which would be 12 or 24 or 16 or 32. When you go down, you minus it by half itself. So 12, 6, 3, 1.5, or 1.5, or 24, 48, 96, 1, 92. That would be going up. So on and so forth. So 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1, or 32, 64, 128, 256, blah, blah, blah. Y'all do that on here. This is just, you're just messing with. Oh, here it goes. Multiplier. See, now we're just doing reflection. Actually, there was nothing on. We turned both filters off, and you're still getting that noise. Here, let me wrap this tape up real quick. I don't want to get it too long. We'll get into better demonstration on the next one. I'll be right back. I get something to drink. So I'm about to start that hacking and coughing again. I'll catch you on the flip. It's dry and a bitch in here.